Top 64, it is starting now, and Loa is grabbing his first 5 cards. Let's see what is going to open this matchup. We are already seeing 1 Ash Blossom, 2 Ash Blossoms, and an Aqua Dolphin in the hand of Robert. This is a crazy deck that he is running. And now you will have to decide, do I throw my Ash on the first thing that hits me?
I mean, we have not even talked about the deck that Robert brought to Top Cut here, and it's just Mikanko casually. We haven't even seen it anywhere on the featured match or in the tournament at all, but here he is in top 64. And of course, from now on, there's no more losing. It will be the winner goes on, the loser goes out from here on, top 64, top 32, and all the way onto the finals at some point. And we are starting with the race-off, with the Kashtira part of our deck here first, but there's the Mannadium card as well.
Yeah, Mannadium has actually shown a decent turnout this tournament. Kind of surprising just because of the amount of different engines that we can fit into this deck. But it's all coming together here for Loa. And of course, as mentioned, Robert is on Mikanko, a deck recently coming out in Master Duel, the strategy revolving around sort of going second, performing these crazy OTKs. And Robert here probably won't feel too bad about losing the dice roll here, but Loa will obviously be really ecstatic playing this sort of big hitting combo deck as we are going to be bringing out our first Mannadium also with the Visa Starfrost to combo that together with.
Beautiful Starlight Red Visa Starfrost triggering the Meek in the graveyard, and that's a very good start. And I think Robert's version of the Mikanko deck that he chose to bring is not that heavily focused on going second, because he's also main decking a couple of Infernoble cards, and we also saw the Aqua Dolphin, for example. So I think he can do a whole lot of stuff going first, and I think if he would have had the choice, he would have rather went first. But it is on Loa to combo off here first of all.
Especially if you know that in Top Cut you might already know what your opponent is playing. If you know that you're playing versus a Mannadium deck, you definitely want to start the game, especially if you have a decent first turn. And Loa's already comboing off. The Obsession got ashed, but Obsession has another effect. You can banish it from the graveyard and then special summon a monster that has the same stats as Visa Starfrost, basically, or Visa Starfrost from your hand to the field. And that is exactly what happened. We normal summoned the Meek after that. Starlight Frost was activated. This is a big combo. I don't even know if the Ash did anything.
Not really too much, that's for sure. And I really love the deck that Loa brought, because he's really actually running all of the field spells. He's running Calarium, Race of Pearl Rhino, and Phobia. Actually all of them. And he found a very, very neat feature to access them even more consistently, because he's running the Revolution Synchron, which then gives him access to Ancient Fairy Dragon, the extra deck, and then he can just fetch out whatever field spell card he likes.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that we're incorporating every single aspect of Visa Starfrost in this deck, all 4 field spells, and as you mentioned, connecting them together with that Ancient Fairy Dragon recently brought back with the new card text, only once per turn now. Not going to be able to get all of the field spells, but we'll be putting in work regardless. Here's the third.
Yeah, exactly. It's already 3 out of 4, so he's going quite strong here.
Honestly, with this deck, it's just meant to be, right? This is a YCS winning deck list.
Totally, it is looking very, very good. And Nadir was already talking about it in Top Cut. While looking through all the decks that made it, it really felt like there was a lot of Mannadium. We at least have like 4, 5, maybe even 6, 7 Mannadium decks in there, which was not really to be expected. It's quite a high representation in Top Cut for sure.
Yeah, there's just so many different spreads of decks that we've seen here. We were looking through the pairings just before this, trying to pick a feature match for you guys, and there's a lot of exciting action. There's a lot of Tearlament, a big mix of Unchained and Pearly, as kind of to be expected. But yes, I was kind of surprised at just how many people were on Mannadium, and it's working out pretty well here for Loa, as he uses the Baron here to pop the Meek, allows it to float, and continue some more combos. The Cross Sheep, of course, will be able to bring out Astral out at some point and go even further. It's a really, really big combo deck, Mannadium, and it's really cool to see it popping off here going first, as we've summoned out Visas Amritara, who will be able to search out the Omni Negate trap card.
Yep, Reframing has been added to his hand, and he's far away from being done here. He has just started. Maybe we're even going to see the 4th field spell being resolved at some point, even though I don't even know what to search out with the Pearl Rhino here anymore, to be honest.
I think they just all act as like various rotas for the Visa Starfrost, because it's just such an important part of starting your combo with all of the little Mannadiums that trigger in the grave to special summon. And here's that Astral out. It's a Contact Fusion from the graveyard, triggering the Cross Sheep, which not only gives you the bonus special summon from the grave, it's also pointing to a Synchro to boost the monster's attack points as well, should that come up.
Yeah, really nice extra factor here. And that's just looking so good for Loa here at the moment. And also, while we were talking about all the decks that made top 64, I think not to be disregarded is a pretty heavy amount of branded decks in there. I saw many people on branded, and I think we are also
all kinds of versions as well.
Yeah, exactly. We have Chimera branded. We have the original branded approach with just the Jimmick Puppet, for example, some 50 card lists.
Yeah, 50 cards almost. It is really, really strong. And I think this is the first time we have ever on stream seen a full Mannadium combo. Even though it was stopped by an Ash Blossom, I think how much better can the field get?
Yeah, true. It's
I actually can't think of what else you would really have in this. Dissipator, Baron, bonus Fenrir as well. That isn't normally part of it, but because Loa's sort of running all of the aspects of VSAS, you also get the Fenrir. And the most important aspect as well is this counter trap card. I think combo decks that also have access to trap cards are really, really powerful because it just protects you from any sort of, something like a main deck Eclipse or Dart Ruler.
True.
Works out really nicely.
Absolutely. Like a trap card in the back is so nice. Do you remember a featured match where we had Virtual World this weekend? Funny story. He's also in Top Cut. He made it all the way.
Yeah, we have Virtual World up here as well. It's crazy.
12th after Swiss or 11th?
Yeah, something around there.
All right, Robert's kicking off his turn here with the preparation of rites, searching out the Mikanko Ohime, which can be used in the hand for non-ritual style of gameplay, but it does recruit out some of those Mikankos. Really powerful effects in their own right, in the sense that they give you so much protection. And we'll see if maybe Robert can try and fight through this field here.
Okay, that's an easy negate though for the Appaloosa, and it's immediately being used. And it looks like Robert also picked up one of the equip spells. Yep, there is Mikanko Water Arabesque, and of course you can just equip that to one of your opponent's monsters when you don't have one yet.
Where going second shines with the Mikanko cards. You can actually combo off when your opponent has monsters on the field. You don't need to equip your equip spells to your own monsters. Sometimes it also has like additional great effects of bouncing the monsters and therefore special summoning something. Those are incredible going second mechanics. However, this field might be a bit too powerful, and the Neospatian Aqua Dolphin and the another Ash Blossom in hand, they are not really helping him too much.
Yeah, and I mean, we can just use this because we can just try to special summon one Mikanko monster from the deck, which is going to be negated, and I think Robert sees no line to break through this, so Loa's drop pick is
go
going
first here, although there are sometimes strategies where you can just let your opponent start, just to throw off their siding patterns and stuff like that. However, against a deck like Mannadium, I think you probably want to start. You can't really risk a deck of that sort of ceiling getting to go first uninterrupted. So it looks like Robert is going first here, picking up a Prosperity. A lot of extra deck cards in this are quite redundant in Mikanko, so it is able to just quite fearlessly remove cards that we're not going to need here and try and dig for some sort of combo piece that we're going to have to try and stop Loa's powerful combo deck.
Yeah, let's see whether it resolves.
Deciding to keep the Zeus in the extra deck is also really interesting right there, so probably planning on breaking back a field, and Neospace Connectors immediately getting some applause from the crowd. We don't even know if it's there it is.
Chaos too.
Yeah, it really is just pick your choice there at that stage. There's a lot of good starters there. There's the warrior portion of the deck, probably going to involve the Infernoble strategy. The Arabesque is a great starter as well, and looks like Loa does not have anything for the connector here, so we could see multiple hand loops potentially, with the effect of Aqua Dolphin being not once per turn. Or rather, a not hard once per turn.
But I mean, we are for sure going to have knowledge about the hand as well, because that's the cool thing about the Aqua Dolphin. It does not only discard something, but it will let you look into the opponent's hand, and there we go. So we're all going to see what's in there. Lightning Storm cannot be discarded, of course. And is there even something we can discard overall? I don't think there is. No. Loa just picks it up again.
We're going to take some life point damage here, but the important thing is that we do get the knowledge despite that, so I think that's really important. The double Reamheart in the hand, as well as VSAS, is a starter in and of itself, so as long as Robert can put up enough here to prevent the interaction of VSAS on Reamheart, we'll see how that actually pans out for him.
Yeah, and also the Lightning Storm is there, so you know that you have to play around that for sure.
And it is really easy to play around that if you're not only going for link summons. You can just summon everything in defense position. However, this is really iconic. I just remember the Goki times of Yu-Gi-Oh! Near Space and Connector into Aqua Dolphin into Isolde.
Yeah, Isolde having such a prominent aspect of the meta in 2018, I think might give people very fond memories or nightmares, depending on which side of the Goki spectrum you're on, as it was, yeah, a real powerhouse of a card. And Isolde Send for summon Armageddonite is a pretty iconic strategy, but maybe not at this level of tournament play.
Probably not, but we first of all used the effect to add something from the deck to our hand, and our card of choice was in for Noble Knight Roland, which was double read by Loa there to make sure what it does. And what are we even going to summon here? I'm pretty curious. Do we go for one of... Oh, okay, we still go with our Infer Noble cards, and this time it is going to be Renault.
Yeah, Renault can recruit back the equip spell, I believe, when it's special summoned by targeting the Mayoshidori, if I'm saying that correctly. And this is the protection effect offered by the Mikankos.
Yeah. I think with YCS it's always so cool that people just come up with completely new deck ideas that are not really in the spotlight just yet. Because honestly, if you would have told me before the event Mikanko Infernoble is a thing, I would have just said, yeah, maybe. I don't really think it is something you could top a YCS with. But here is Robert, and he is just in here in top 64 of the tournament. And I think those stories at the YCS are always the best about it, because heroes are born, underdogs are becoming champions, and maybe Robert is going to be the next champion with a really cool deck here.
Honestly, Mikanko always slips through in the tournaments we were commentating on. I think at German Nationals there were like 2 even in the top cut.
Yeah.
What a crazy deck, and never on stream has it performed so far, so I'm really curious to see what this uninterrupted Mikanko combo is going to be like.
Totally.
We've got the summoning out of Hare here with Arabesque from the deck, and then we will probably at some point get to Huli, and that gives you the protection effect. But it looks like we're going to search out the trap here, I think, with the Hare, which... oh, no. Okay, no, we're actually going to go for Fire Dance.
I think the trap is already sitting in his hand, and therefore he doesn't need to search it anymore. And Loa, even though we guessed that he knows all those cards, is definitely making sure to double read all of them. And I mean, even if you do know what they do in general, it's always good to double check. Maybe you missed a little thing about it, and then you just want to make sure to have complete information at that stage of the tournament especially.
Gonna make sure you double check those conditions and restrictions. You know, sometimes you might be caught out with like a little, you know, this card can't be targeted, or this card's once per turn, so important to read your cards. Classic advice for Yu-Gi-Oh players.
Yeah, and I mean, this card can't be targeted is a pretty good thing for Mikanko cards, because yeah, that's a thing they have with them, that it's really tough to go after them with targeting effects.
It's kind of their whole gimmick and theme, is that they are offering a lot of protection effects. Looks like we're going to continue off with a Synchro Summon. Okay,
nice.
I guess this is how we reach Ohime at some point. I'm sure this Herald will hit the field, hit the grave at some point to get a search.
That's actually a good point.
Although just leaving it up here could be pretty decent. Yeah, it's just a good interrupt by itself.
As a negate. I mean, usually for the latest times, I've seen Herald of the Arclight never really being used to search for a ritual monster, but it's so powerful. It was always just there that extra negate, maybe in the Melfi Sprite deck or something, but here we have it actually searching out a ritual card, so working as part of the engine. And Loa has to make sure, does it even work? But of course, Robert probably has been doing this the entire weekend already.
Yeah, a little bit kind of worried on Robert's part here. I'm sure there's a plan long-term, because remember, he did activate the Aqua Dolphin this turn and check out that there's a Lightning Storm in the hand, so unfortunately Apollo's is not going to be able to sit in defense position, so we'll see if he's got some sort of protection in place for the Apollosa here.
Let's see, I'm going to bring up the trap that I think Robert has in hand. I'm going to read up on that one, because I'm not that familiar with Mikanko cards.
Alright, share with the class.
Target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Equip that face-up monster to one Mikanko monster you control as an equip spell. Then if a ritual monster card is on the field, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each equip spell you control. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one of your Mikanko monsters that is banished or in your hand. You can only use each effect of Mikanko Spirit Walk once per turn.
I didn't understand a word of that. I was too focused on how beautifully you read that, honestly.
Yeah, the way he changed his voice. Right? He never talks to us like that. He just does that voice when he's reading out cards. It's okay, but let's see. That Spirit Walk is the only trap card he has in hand, but he's not done yet. Okay, we are this time even ritual summoning out the Ohime by using the ritual spell of the deck, which is the... Or no, it's not even the ritual spell, but it's the Great Mikanko Ceremony.
It kind of is a ritual spell, but it's
right?
not a ritual spell, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it has the same color, right? So I guess that's close enough. It actually summons out and ignores the summoning conditions. So technically not correctly ritual summoned, but we can add back Hule here. and the Miyashidori. Or special summoning out the Huli.
Yeah, we're setting up quite a bit, and now, importantly enough, we do get to summon those cards in defense position, and there is the second trap card that we're adding there, and that is going to be
Rivalry.
Mikanko Rivalry, indeed.
So I believe the idea, could be wrong here, is that Rivalry can be used to be equipped onto the Apollousa, and that protects it from the Lightning Storm, I want to say.
Yeah, that works.
All right, let's see. 2 set cards here, and we're retrieving the Arabesque.
Ooh, Arabesque onto the Apollousa already. Okay, so Apollousa is equipped with an equip spell already at this point of time. But does that generally also protect it?
Yeah, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects.
Yeah, perfect.
Fantastic.
That works. So people are wondering why you would put that Apollousa there in attack position, but we have now found a solution to it.
So if this is like the perfect end field that you can have, there are, I think, 3 words that are really scaring you. It's enter battle phase.
No Omnis, I think, here, so it will be quite a terrifying card to contend with. But I actually haven't seen too many evenly matches in people's side decks this weekend.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is. I guess there's just so many good boss monsters to end on that keeping something like a Noir is probably not really ideal for a lot of players. But we got this Lightning Storm, probably just going to go for the spells and traps here.
Which is still really good.
Yeah. It does force out the...
Oh, no.
Wow.
That's just resolving. That's an instant +3 there on the field for Loa. That's huge.
I was sure that Huli protected the equips, but apparently not. It's only the Mikanko monsters that are protected from Huli.
Yeah. I mean, we built all of that up just to immediately get all of our cards taken away by the Lightning Storm we already knew about.
So what's the Cosmic gonna do now?
Yeah, it's kind of lonely without any other spell and trap cards on the field, true.
All right, well, just a 3-material Apollousa, which admittedly is quite strong in its own right. Oh, okay, we picked up Fenrir. Okay.
Even match for the Apollousa, I want to say.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, but Ohime is going to use its effect, which is, of course, a quick effect, so we can also do it on the opponent's turn. And you can target one equip spell in your graveyard to equip it to one appropriate monster on the field, and that is going to be the Reflection Rondo right there. And that means we are now having a Xtira Fenrir on our side of the field.
But there is the Cosmic Cyclone that is oh so strong, and I think that just actually does something. It can just... Okay, maybe this does not work that way.
It must be protected, I think, right? Surely, otherwise you would just Cosmic this equip spell.
Oh, when this card leaves the field, send the equipped monster to the graveyard.
Oh,
so it actually doesn't matter very well. So Rimhard is normal summoned, and that's going to be... Oh, okay. So I just noticed that he reduced the attack of Apollousa, but in fact it seems like Loa chose not to activate the effect of Rimhard.
Oh,
he's just
picking it up.
That was more than enough by
Most likely going to want to begin here and yeah, try and do much of before. Set up that crazy, amazing combo, as well as setting the Omni Trap card. And you can see that Robert has picked up an Ash Blossom and Imperm in his hand.
Yeah, multiple interruptions this time. Definitely looking better than in game 1.
But those aren't high impact interruptions, you know?
Yeah,
I think
that's the thing, right? Like typically you would want to see that side deck Nibiru potentially, but we'll see if Ash and Imperm combined together is going to be enough here.
because this is already crazy. If you're having Ash and Imperm, this is 2 out of your 6 cards here that you will have. And if the Fenrir is already there, this thing doesn't care.
Yeah. Fenrir, search Fenrir. No drone Lockbird anywhere to be seen. And Robert really wants to make sure how to go about this. I think that is a kind of nice card to go for with Ash Blossom. But Robert does disagree, and we are searching out the Scareclaw Rai card there.
I think it's always one of those paradoxical situations where if you Ash one card, they might have the other one, and then if you Ash that one, they might have, you know, it's, I like to call it the Alistair paradox, you know.
Oh, but we go for the Rai card as our Ash Blossom target.
A normal summon Rai card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually probably the best part of this, I think, in terms of his options. But despite this, I think the Rai card can just be made into the Light Heart. The Light Heart can get a field spell, so there's just a lot of plays still available, I think.
Yep, and he also has Heart in his hand, a Droplet, and I think Scareclaw Kashtira.
Okay, as you were anticipating, we just immediately linked that Rykard off to go for Lightheart. Grabbing ourselves field spell number 2 for this game.
Yeah, keep a counter.
Where is it? Oh, there we go, Rykphobia.
So Rykphobia I don't think offers too much for this deck other than just the activation search. I think you probably end on Calarium at some point here, but we'll see if he's got enough gas in the tank to keep rotating out those different versions of Visas, and we'll see if we can also put up something like Apollousa. Yeah. In a world where we've saw Loa end on something like an Apollousa, I'm just wondering if there's a world in where you wait until your own turn to use Imperm on Apollousa, but you might be worried about that also being developed with a Baron, I guess, right?
True, true. Rykphobia, I think mainly going second is a nice tool for the on-field effect because you can actually destroy opponents' cards. Yeah. And now, do we go for the Heart? Do we want to imprem that? Robert really saying, I need to consider this. And he better takes his time about it, and there it comes, imprem on the Heart.
And now, is this what's stopping the combo? We know that Loa has one more card that he can use, which is the Scareclaw Kashtira. He has a Fenrir in hand, which cannot be used currently, and a Droplet that is also not going to help his case. So does he get anywhere with summoning the Scareclaw Kashtira right here?
A lot of hand traps and disruptions coming off here, and just alone and by themselves, Ash and Imperm not exactly amazing against Mannadium with the right hand, but when you start pairing up multiples of them, it's going to be quite hard to really extend if you don't draw those right pieces here, and it doesn't look like it.
We are just passing over. Robert nodding his head, realizing his 2 interactions were good enough, and he picks up Prosperity for turn.
Huge pickup as we begin our game 2 here, because Prosperity can dig for whatever he feels is necessary to beat this semi-underwhelming field. We just have a back row and a Fenrir, and so we can go for some defensive cards, or we can probably try and get a starter into our hand. Let's see what he decides to go for.
Water Arabesque is already insane, because you can bounce the Fenrir by special summoning a monster from your deck. That is absolutely crazy. And if there are no hard negates, no omni negates, this deck is just going completely insane here. But we might as well just start off with a Pot of Prosperity.
He's not sure himself. He's reconsidering and reconsidering, but there is the Mikanko Water Arabesque onto the Fenrir.
Prosperity being such a important and just really powerful card this format, I think is naturally just a testament to how good it is. But I think sometimes it can be a little tricky to use, right? Because it's like you kind of have to question yourself, like, do I begin with the Pot of Prosperity, or do I try and play with what little resources I have and then dig for something after I get stopped?
Yep. So that one Fenrir joining the other one in hand. So now 2 Fenrirs in hand for Loa. And in advance, Robert also got himself a Hooli onto the field.
Last line of defense is going to be that set Droplet, and good thing about Droplet is that it doesn't target, it does send.
Very important.
For cost, and you cannot respond to it. But the whole gimmick of Mikanko's being protected from targeting and destruction is going to be really, really not that relevant here.
Okay, fetching ourselves Mikanko Super Walk again. Oh no, Spirit Walk.
Super Walk. Super Walk.
I mean, it is a pretty superb walk he's taking right now into the field of Loa there.
We'll see if it's a walk into victory.
Yeah, hopefully for him.
All right, so we didn't normal summon, so that's going to be used on Hare.
We still have Infinite Noble cards in our hand. Look at that, he's just joining the Mikankos on the field. Yeah. There is now a Renault as well, and we are probably just going to go for good old... Where is she? Yeah, our Link to Monster of Choice. There she is. Isolde coming onto the field. And that feels like a card you might want to use your Droplet on, I guess.
Yeah, I think the Droplet, if at some point you're going to use it, this might be the best place to try and use it, because it's an incredible card that just fetches you into the rest of your combo, and I think it just makes the most sense here.
Yep, there we go, Dropletting it.
The great thing about Isolde is that sending equipped cards for is a cost, so you can actually still send cards to your graveyard that just special summon out monsters if you want.
Yeah, and sometimes against like real decks like Infinite Noble that are really focusing on the warrior part of the deck, you would be like, yeah, you don't really want to use the Droplet on the first effect of Isolde, because the second one could still be used with a second Isolde later on, but in the actual deck of Robert, there is only one Isolde, so he's not going to be able to special summon out from the deck. But as we see, he's still going to be able to send some equip spells here to the graveyard, because as Leo said, that was a cost for the effect.
Yeah, just having that setup there is really important because there's a lot of equipping from the grave that happens. So even though we don't get the special summon of, I guess, 3 would probably equate to, I think, Aqua Dolphin, still negated by the droplet, it means that we do have that setup that we're trying to look for here. And I'm wondering if we can go for game at this point.
I mean,
what's the defense? It's 21, right?
Yes, it should be.
So I think we can do like 21 reflected damage twice. Maybe if we can get some more Mikankos on the field or something, we'll see if we can lead towards 8,000. I think generally with this deck, you want to be able to have your opponent have a big and attack position monster. So we'll see if Robert can either just deplete Loa down to like no resources and set up that rivalry, or actually go for game here. Okay, looks like we are just going to do some damage.
Going for game is very unlikely because there's 2 things to consider. First of all, the Reichphobia lowers the attack of the monsters by Robert. Second of all, he did go for the Prosperity, didn't he?
Well,
yeah. Or is it still in hand? Oh,
yeah,
I think it might still be in hand, right?
Oh, yeah, we haven't used it yet.
There was no Prosperity.
Well, the Mikankos have 0 attack, so...
True, they're not really lowered there. You're right, you're right.
Isolde is, though, heavily lowered, also halved.
Yep, true. And now in main phase 2, after doing 4,200 points of damage, we are going to go for the Prosperity. This is looking good for Robert, honestly.
It's not 42, it's half.
But I mean, he's on 3,800 there.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because the Prosperity just comes down. Yeah.
We just went over this.
Exactly. So
it's been a long day for us as well.
All right. What do we got?
Oh, don't hide it from us, Robert. We need to see it.
I think we've got an Ohime.
Yes, there we can see it. Thank you so much. Okay, Magician's Soul is also such a nice card to go for. But there's Ohime as the 6th card, and right away Robert realized that's the one he wants and needs.
So Prosperity resolves. Ohime added to the hand is looking pretty strong. Can we just summon this out, or do we just use the reveal effect of Ohime now?
Okay, Ohime effect, revealing itself, going into the deck right away, and there is the ceremony we also had last game.
Yeah, so I think our same setup that we did in the last game is probably what we're going to end up with here. Discard out of the hand from using the Ohime, and it means now we can go for the Mikanko ceremony, special summoning her out, and we're going to be able to transfer equips on our opponent's turn here.
Oh, that is really interesting because now we have one more defense position monster on the field.
Yeah, you have to be aware of that because now at some point the Reichphobia effect might come in, but we just got rid of a whole lot of those defense position monsters, and once again the Appaloosa there.
Yeah, Appaloosa being made with your opponent's monster. I was worried for a second he was about to bounce the Reinhardt, but it actually steals from the equip spell, and now Appaloosa for 3, as well as the set and the Ohime live.
Looking good.
He managed to crack the field.
Yeah, that was very, very powerful by Robert. Cool display of the Mikanko archetype here already, but is it going to be enough? We know Loa has double Fenrir and a Scarecrow Tira in hand. So all cards on the table basically for both players, because Robert has no cards left in hand and Loa has all of the cards publicly known, basically.
Oh, that's interesting. He chose not to negate the effect of Scarecrow Tira to summon itself with the Appaloosa.
Yep, and he also did not summon... He did not wait until he could summon Fenrir before that.
Yeah.
Sure, we just have that Fenrir now sitting in our hand, or 2 of them even, and we cannot get them onto the field. So I like not negating the Scarecrow Tira because that just blocks the 2 Fenrirs in hand.
Oh, and there's another droplet, so you basically
picked up a droplet there, I
place.
Yeah.
I think if Loa had any other type of engine, he might be able to do something here, but it's actually looking quite weak. And it looks like we're going to the battle phase, and then using the Ohime, equipping onto the Scarecrow Tira, and then stealing it.
Okay.
But that's interesting now for Loa, because he has the Fenrir and he can activate the search effect. He has used the Scarecrow Tira summon effect in the last end phase, so there is the possibility to try and summon it again. That would probably activate Appaloosa, and then you could banish something with Fenrir. Or we are just sitting at 20 Fenrirs.
Yeah. Also, it's main phase only. Let's not forget about that for Scarecrow Tira.
Could have summoned the Fenrir in defense position and used Reichphobia to pop the Appaloosa.
Oh, that would have been nice. You're right. But I mean, is maybe the Appaloosa also equipped with one of the Mikanko spells? Oh, but it's just going to be one more
that's
set
rough.
card for Loa.
That's
and
rough.
back to the Mikanko player, Robert. And I think, look, by the speed he picked up his graveyard there, he realizes this might be the turn we're about to end with. This might be the turn we are going to go into top 32. Oh, he's already a little bit too furious because he wanted to activate the fact that he cannot activate there.
It happens to the best.
Yes, for sure.
Well, I mean, at an absolute minimum, just attacking with the Huli into the Fenrir is going to be 24 damage, so...
Yep.
Let's see how we play this one out. So Hime returning itself to the hand, draws for turn.
Also to the Nibiru.
Yeah, okay. Didn't even need it. Didn't even need it.
That is fantastic follow-up, I want to say. I don't really think that's a good draw, but I mean, Robert had a line of play in his head, and he might actually be able to go for it because he wants to use cards in the graveyard.
Yeah, so the last line of defense for Loa being that droplet to prevent Huli from dealing the reflected damage here, I think is going to be the last saving grace, but I'm just worried that he's down to so few cards that even if he survives this turn, it's going to be a real uphill battle here.
Imagine he's attacking with the Scareclaw Kashtira, because Droplet can't even half the defense of Scareclaw Kashtira, and it would still attack over the Fenrir. But I think, yeah, you would attack first with the Huli.
Okay, so I think there's currently a little bit of a judge call going on, but they have come to a conclusion, so we might as well stay with the table because the players are going to pick up play again here. So
Mikanko as a strategy, thoughts?
I mean, now I'm a fan.
Now you're a fan.
Now that you're putting me on the spot, it looks pretty good to me.
Now you're Ohime's #1 soldier.
Yeah. I think I will just play that from now on. That will be my new
You're
deck.
gonna ditch Plunder Patrol?
Probably, yeah. Mikanko looks better to me right now.
Wait, you're a plunder spieler? When did this happen?
Yeah, since
Did I miss this conversation?
Since Euros, because there was a plunder player doing pretty well in the tournament, and then
okay.
I always pick out the cool decks, I guess. Okay, but now back to Robert, because he's certainly the best Mikanko player left in the tournament, and he's about to maybe move himself into the top 32 just in this turn.
So we have Appaloosa, Huli, and the Scareclaw Kashtira. There is one droplet left, and we have the Fenrir as well. Can this be enough for Loa? I mean, Fenrir and droplet are actually kind of okay. You can use the droplet to get rid of your own Phobia and a Fenrir in hand, possibly negate the Appaloosa plus another monster that is threatening you, and then activate Fenrir and then banish something else. So actually there is quite a lot to think about if you're Robert.
For sure. Quick ruling question. Can you activate Forbidden Droplet onto a monster of 0 attack?
No.
Probably not, right? That's what I would be thinking. Because otherwise negating the Huli might be good, because when he tries to attack with it into the Fenrir, and then you just dropped it and it gets destroyed by battle, it would be nice, but due to the fact that it has 0 attack, I don't think that works.
Yeah, I think we have also clarified this yesterday with the skill drain issue. The attack halving comes first. So if there is a monster that attack can't be halved, that's a problem.
Yeah, probably. So we are going to have that ceremony in the graveyard, getting the Ohime out onto the field.
You know, it is the game shot here from Robert's perspective. It really is quite as simple as attack, attack. However, they are going to probably have a bit of a conversation on how this droplet will interact, because it's an extremely important part of this this matchup here as players here, and play will resume on Robert's part. It looks like we might be in the battle phase right now. Yep, it does appear to be that way as we declare an attack with Huli.
And now, of course, Loa considering whether to use the droplet here. Maybe not sure himself whether he could actually use it onto the Huli.
Yeah, this is going to be the most important droplet of Loa's life here.
I mean, maybe he has used the droplet in his national champion finals, but droplet is going to be activated. Now we're going to figure out if this works, if he even wants to use this on the Huli.
So we send 2 cards here.
Yep.
And his negates of choices are Appaloosa and the Huli.
Can you use that on
Okay,
Huli?
okay,
Well,
let's pay some attention. Is that going to work here?
looks like it does.
Seems like we do successfully negate a monster of 0 attack.
Yeah, so the Huli runs into the Fenrir here. The protection effect does not apply because it's negated by the droplet, and the equip spell also does not offer that type of protection. So Apollousa will be... I was trying to remember how rulings work with Apollousa. So it's negated, but it's still half of its attack. And I think in the end, so it doesn't go to 0 because Apollousa's effect is to gain attack.
Yep.
But I believe it's set to half of its attack. So Apollousa will remain with a negate in the end phase for Loa's turn. But
I think it's a very weird ruling in which in the end phase, when it completely loses its attack. I think in the end phase it goes down to 0 attack for some reason. I know the ruling, and it is halved now, and then in the end phase it goes down to 0 attack for some reason.
Right.
Don't ask me about it.
Okay.
So 1,200 and 2,600 defense point of Scarecrow Kashtira. This is... Wait, what? Okay.
So yeah, this is exactly what's being discussed here with the judges. How much attack points does Apollousa have? It should be half of it.
Oh, there's the handshake. This was exactly 3,800.